Jazwares is probably the second most well-known officially licensed company that makes Plants vs. Zombies plushes behind the World Max. And just like World Max, they made actually a few sets, so today we're going to be looking at their first set of Plants vs. Zombies plushes that they ever made. So with that said, welcome to a look at the Jazwares Plants vs. Zombies Set 1 plush set. The first plush in this set is the pea shooter. Now right off the bat, you'll notice that this Jazwares pea shooter resembles a lot of features that the World Max pea shooter has, but Jazwares does have a little bit of a uniqueness to it still. The pea shooter overall is really good in this set and is actually really accurate to the game. It has 4 nicely shaped leaves on the leaf base and has a stem with a ring on the top of it, which is all accurate to the game, and overall they did a really good job making the detail on it. The head is also a great shape, and just like the World Max pea shooter, a pea could actually come out of its mouth. The only really bad part about this plush is that the pea is made out of felt, so it could collect dust and debris. Also, the eyes are facing different directions mattering on what type of plush you get. In my opinion, this is the better version of the plush with the eyes facing to the right. But there are some versions of this Jazwares pea shooter that are facing different angles, which just look really weird in my opinion. I like the design looking right a lot better. Now, probably the most unique feature about this plush is that it actually has a voice box in it. Overall, this plush has all the accurate details, and the voice box is just a nice extra feature about it, and Jazwares did a great job making a pea shooter look accurate to the game. If you want this plush, look on eBay or Mercari, it's pretty common to find one there. Now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is the Sunflower. Once again, Jazwares did a great job making an accurate look at Sunflower plush. The leaf base and the stem are the exact same on the pea shooter. The leaf base and the stem are the exact same as the pea shooters, except that it doesn't have a ring around its neck. The petals are made out of felt, so they could get damaged and collect dust. And once again, just like the pea shooter, has a voice box in it, but it could be broken over the years, and it's quite hard to find one with a working voice box still. The sunflower face is nicely embroidered on, and it uses the exact same look as basically every officially licensed sunflower plush. Now, there are actually 2 different variants of these plushes, but they have very little changes about them. The only change is that the petals are bigger on the re-releases than the original releases. But that's really the only change with these plushes. But the original release is a lot rarer than the re-release, so good luck finding the original release because it's quite rare now. Now, there's also another variation of this plush being the clip variation. Now, all this plushes is a small clip of the sunflower head. There's nothing really much to say about this, it's just a small sunflower head, and it's pretty rare to still find in its packaging. Now, for all the variations of these plush, I would recommend looking on eBay or Mercari. The re-release is by far the easiest to find, the clip version is the second easiest to find, and the original release of the sunflower plush is by far the rarest. Now let's move on to the final plant plush in the set, being the jalapeno. Now, this jalapeno clip only came in one size, being the clip variation. One thing that I noticed looking at this plush is that it resembles the World Max jalapeno in the big size a lot. So I think Jazwares was inspired by that plush while making this design of the plush, because it looks almost the exact same, but just smaller obviously. The jalapeno's eyes are made out of plastic, and there's painted on to represent the pupils and the eyelid. The mouth is also extremely nicely embroidered. It's much harder to embroider something on a small plush, so Jazwares actually did a pretty good job doing it. Now, if you want this plush, look on eBay or Mercari. That's basically the only place you could find it. It is quite rare to find one still in the packaging though. Now let's move on to the final plush in the set, being the zombie. Now, this has to be probably the most detailed plush in this whole set. The face details are nicely embroidered on, and the eyes are made out of felt, so they could collect debris and dust. The inside of the mouth is also made out of felt, and the teeth are just glued on. His bow tie looks really nice and is stitched to his neck, so it shouldn't fall off. His coat and pants have all the right details, and they're cut really nicely and look really accurate to the game. He also has stitches on his hands so to represent the fingers, which is always a nice detail. The least detailed part about this plush is probably the shoes of it, because it's just brown shoes, but that's really the only bad thing about this plush. Overall, this plush is really well detailed and really nice looking. Just like the sunflower has a clip version of it. It's the exact same as the normal zombie's head, but instead of the eyes being made out of felt, they're just stitched on. The clip version also has 5 teeth, while the actual big zombie plush has 4 teeth. The normal size of the zombie plush also has a speaker box in it, and none of the clip plushes have any of the voice boxes in them. The reason for that is just the plushes are too small to fit a voice box in. If you want this plush just like the others like on eBay or Mercari, the clip version is probably the rarest version. So which plush in this set was your favorite? Mine was probably the zombie, but comment down below what your favorite was, and yeah, have a great day. Jazwares is a company that made multiple Plants vs Zombies plush sets, and today we're going to be looking at the second ever Plants vs Zombies plush set they ever made. And even though that this plush set is really small, it's still a pretty cool one. So with that said, welcome to a look at the Jazwares Plants vs Zombies Set 2 plush set. Now let's start off with the first and only plant in the set being the cherry bomb. Overall, this cherry bomb plush is pretty good. Both of the cherries are exactly the same with the facial expressions, except the mouths are just slightly different, with one having bigger teeth on the bottom and one having bigger teeth on the top, but that's really the only difference about these faces. And well, it's clear that this plush is based off of the Plants vs Zombies 2 design of the cherry bomb and not the Plants vs Zombies 1 design. Now the stem on this plush is actually inaccurate because it's supposed to be brown instead of green, and the leaves are, well, pretty accurate, I guess. But overall, this plush is really simple for Jazwares to make because there really isn't that much details in it. And overall, it is a really simplistic plush compared to some other cherry bomb plushes. One thing that's really interesting about this plush though is that there was recently a prototype up for sale on eBay. Now this is a picture of the prototype here. Well, it doesn't really look like a prototype, and it doesn't even look different from the original plush. The only difference on it is the tag. As you can see, this one has a Terraria tag instead of having a Plants vs Zombies tag, which is well what Jazwares used for their prototype plushes. And that plush was recently on eBay and it sold a little while ago. But if you do want this plush, look on eBay or Mercari and you could usually find it for pretty cheap. But if you do want a prototype version, I've only ever seen one of them on eBay. Now let's move on to the next plush in this set, which is the Imp. Now a cool thing about this plush is that it's actually the first ever Imp plush. The only other Imp plush was released by Linkson 2 and like a lot later than this plush. So yeah, this is the first ever Imp plush and by far the best one because well, the details are actually really accurate on this plush and it's probably the best plush in the set. The face has nice embroidery on it and all the teeth are made out of felt, so they could get bent and damaged, but that's really the only bad thing about this plush. And also the eyes are made out of plastic, so they could get chipped. The mouth also has cardboard in it, so you could open and close it, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because the cardboard could get damaged and destroyed. And the body of the Imp is just well the normal zombie body except a lot smaller because well it is an Imp. And the clothes are just made out of some like sort of fabric material. And overall this plush should be probably the best one in the whole set because well the details are really accurate and overall it's by far the most accurate plush in the whole set and just overall looks nice. And there's also a picture of the prototype version of this plush being well this picture. It doesn't really look that much different from the release, but there are a few differences. The biggest difference is that instead of the skin being gray, it's more like a greenish gray color, but that's really the only noticeable difference except for that the coat's a little more red than on the official release. And unlike the cherry bomb prototype, this plush has never shown up for sale and it's very unlikely the prototype will ever be seen again because well there's only this one picture of it from like when this plush first got released and revealed. So you basically have no chance of finding this prototype plush, and well for the normal plush itself you could easily find it on eBay or Mercari, but it does cost a lot of money, like $100 sometimes that it sells for. And now let's move on to probably the most interesting plush in this whole set being the Rip and Tear Conehead Zombie. Now the main reason why this plush is so interesting is that because well you could take its head and its arms off. So yeah, this plush's arms and head were attached by Velcro and you could rip them off, which well was the main part of this plush. And well that probably wasn't the best design choice because nowadays you could find these plushes on eBay and Mercari, but most of them are missing parts of arms and also they're extremely damaged. And well it's extremely rare to find this plush in the box still, and there's been only one recent listing that had it in the box still, so yeah it's extremely rare to find it in the cardboard box and even in mint condition by itself. One thing that I do find interesting about this plush though is that for some reason they only made the head and the arms come off and not the cone. I think that would have been a cool idea to take off the cone so you can make like a basic zombie and a conehead zombie. And I feel like that overall would have made the plush just a little better. And well, since the head and arms are attached by Velcro, if you take this plush's arms and head off a lot of times, the Velcro will get dull and well just won't stick anymore. So that's why a lot of the times you'll see this plush like without arms or even without a head sometimes because well the Velcro has like died out and overall you just can't work anymore. There's also a voice box in these plushes, but basically none of them work anymore. I couldn't even find footage of a voice box even working, so yeah, they're extremely rare to find one in the box, especially with working voice box. But if you do want this plush, look on eBay and Mercari, but it's very unlikely that you'll find a mint condition one. You'll most likely just find damaged ones for a while. But yeah, which plush did it say is your favorite? Mine is probably the Imp, but comment down below yours, and yeah, have a great day. Jazwares is a well-known company that makes plushes, and they made many sets for the game Plants vs. Zombies, and today we're going to be looking at the third set they ever made for the game. So with that said, welcome to a look at the Jazwares Plants vs. Zombies Set 3 plush set. Now let's start off with the first plush in this set, which is Bok Choy. Now, out of any other Bok Choy plush made by any other company, this one by far has to be the most accurate, just in front of World Max. They did a really good job making all the details, and overall the colors do look pretty nice, except they're a little inaccurate because the body is supposed to be a limer green than the rest of the plush, but overall it still looks pretty good. The arms on this plush are bendy because they have metal rods in them, but these could get damaged really easily because the metal rods could get broken, especially because these plushes are getting older and older. So if you do get this plush in mint condition, I wouldn't recommend really messing with the arms because, you could end up breaking them easily. Jazwares did a good job making the face and embroidering it on because it looks really accurate. And also the stuff on his head looks really nice, and overall they did a really good job making details because, the top of his head looks like it's folding over it, which overall is a really nice detail. Overall, besides the fact that his body is the wrong color, it's actually a really good plush and by far the best Bok Choy plush ever made. If you want this plush, it's really easy to find on eBay and Mercari, and it should only cost a little bit of money. There is also a prototype of this plush, which is this. It basically is the exact same as the normal variant, except there's a few differences with the head and the arms. As you can see, the embroidery is slightly different because, it's smaller. Also, the body color is a lighter green instead of a darker green on the official release. Also, the arms are a little less detailed on the prototype version, but besides that, the plush is basically the exact same as the normally released version. Now let's move on to the next plush set, which is the Chomper. Now, unlike Link's and Chomper plush, this one's actually more accurate because, it doesn't have eyes on it. The head on this plush is actually really detailed and even has little iron-on circles on it to make it look more detailed, and also the spikes on the top of the head are made out of felt, so they could get bent and damaged. Same thing with the teeth because, they're only made out of felt and could get damaged, but besides that, the rest of the plush is actually really good and it also has a bendy neck. But same thing with the Bok Choy, the metal rod in the neck could get damaged and, could end up destroying this plush because, the whole plush is held up by this metal rod, so if it gets destroyed, the whole plush is ruined. So if you do get this plush, do not move the head on it because, you could end up ruining, the whole plush if it gets damaged slightly. There's also felt leaves on the bottom of the head, which could also get damaged because they're only made out of felt. And for some reason on this plush, the leaf base is really small, which makes it hard for this plush to stand up. I think it would have been better if they made a leaf base a little bigger. But besides that, they did a great job making this plush, and overall it looks really nice. And this plush is probably the most common in the whole set because, I see it on eBay and Mercari a lot, so you could probably get it there easily. There's also this one picture of a prototype which looks slightly different because the outline of the mouth is a darker green color. There's also less teeth in the mouth. Also, the head seems to be made out of a lighter purple material, but I can't really tell because the picture quality is really bad and this is the only image we have of it, and also you can barely even see the rest of the plush besides the head. The spikes on the top of the prototype set also look slightly different than the official release. Now let's move on to the next plush set, which is the Snapdragon. Now this plush is the exact same neck as the Chomper, and once again the metal rod could get bent and damaged, so be careful with this plush if you get it because, it could get damaged easily. And the leaf base has the same problem on the Chomper being way too small. I think it would have been a lot better if they made it bigger. The head on this plush is actually really good, except for the teeth and the fur on the sides of the head because they're made out of felt, but besides that, all the embroidered on details look great. And I like how they stitched on some stuff and also added extra plush material to make the plush look more detailed and look like it has more depth. Which overall, I think Jazwares did a great job with, and this by far has to be one of the most detailed plushes in this whole set. The only thing you really need to be careful about this plush is the neck and also the felt pieces on the face, but besides that, this plush is overall really good, and you can find this plush on eBay and Mercari for a little bit of money. It's not really that expensive, it only costs $30 in good condition. Just like the other plants, since it has a prototype of it, this has a few differences to it. First off, the leaf base is a red color instead of an orangish color on the official release. Also, the horn on the front of the Snapdragon's nose is orange color instead of being a green color on the official release, but besides that, there really isn't any differences to it besides a little bit of colors being slightly different. But this is one of the only plushes in this set which I would say that the prototype actually looks a little better than the official release because, the leaf base overall looks nice, and I like the horn being a orange color instead of green color. But even though the prototype is still better than the official release, overall the official release is still pretty good. Now let's go into the first and only zombie that was officially released in the set, being the Disco Zombie. Now, this plush is really well known because, well, a lot of people hate this plush because, well, overall, people just think it looks weird and it's just like inaccurate looking. And, well, I do gotta say, this is probably the worst disco zombie ever released by any company. Overall, the hair on this plush is probably the worst thing about it because, well, it's made out of like a weird material and also could get damaged really easily because it collects debris and dust unlike others. The glasses are also made out of felt, so they could get easily bent and damaged, and you'll see tons of them just missing the glasses because, well, they come like unattached from the plush. The eyes are also made out of plastic and can get chipped and damaged easily because, well, you'll see a lot of these plushes, they're missing like the pupils in the eyes because they've been like cracked. Overall, the rest of the body's okay. For some reason, his hands are really big compared to his arms, which is just overall weird because, well, that's not how it's supposed to look, but besides that, the plush is pretty good. He has this weird necklace which is like has like a little like cotton ball on like the end of it, and also like the rest of it is made out of this weird like yarnish material. The shirt is a light blue color and really doesn't have much else to say about it, and the pants are white, which overall look pretty nice, but they could get easily damaged because, well, it's a white color and they could get like stained. But the most accurate part about this plush is probably the shoes because, well, no other disco zombie uses the shoes, and overall I think the shoes actually look pretty good on this plush. Overall, a lot of people don't like this plush as well, but it's probably the worst disco zombie plush made by any company, but still, even though it has some details on the face that look ugly, it's still overall a pretty okay plush. But now let's move on to two other plushes in the set which were never actually officially released, and we only have very few pictures of because, well, they're only prototypes. Let's start off with the swashbuckler zombie, which we only have this one image of, and we don't even have like a body picture of it, so all we have to go off of is the face. And overall, I do think that the swashbuckler zombie actually looks pretty good on the face because, well, the eyes are actually made out of felt instead of a plastic material, which isn't the best material to be made out of eyes, but still overall looks pretty good. He also has a nicely embroidered on scar, which is like a really nice detail to add to this plush. Also, all the teeth are like glued onto the mouth by the looks of it and are made out of felt. He also has a beard which seems to be made out of felt, but I can't really tell because the image quality is really not that good, so I can't really tell. The hat seems to be made out of some sort of like fake leatherish material. I can't really tell though because, well, we only have one image of this plush, so there's not really much to go off of. And as you can see in like the right corner, you could kind of see part of his arm, which looks like okay, I guess, with the clothes. You can't really see much of it though, so I don't really have anything to really go off of. Overall, this plush might have been good, but we can't really see the full body of it, so we can't really tell if it would be a good or bad plush. There's also one other prototype plush, being the mummy zombie prototype, which we actually have a full picture of, so we can actually like talk about it more. The face has nicely embroidered on details, and the eyes seem to be made out of like either a felt or plastic material because, well, I can't really tell because we only have one picture of this plush, so it's kind of hard to tell. The teeth have the problem being made out of felt because, well, they could get bent and damaged, as you can see in this picture here. The bottom teeth are like bending down, which isn't good. But overall, basically every other detail on this plush is really good, and I think they did a great job of it because, well, the clothes overall look really nice. And as you can see by this one image that we have, the clothes seem to be really detailed and overall look really accurate to how the game looks, and it would probably be the best mummy zombie plush if it was officially released. The tie on this plush also seems to be made out of felt, but I can't really tell though because we only have one image of it, but the tie still looks really good even if it is made out of felt. Overall, it's a shame that this plush wasn't officially released because, well, it would have looked like it would have been a great plush. But yeah, which plush instead is your favorite? Mine's probably Snapdragon, but comment down below yours, and yeah, have a great day. Jazwares has already made a few Plants vs Zombies plushes, but they've all been based off of either the first or second Plants vs Zombies game. But today we're going to be looking at a plush set that's made for the game Garden Warfare 2. So with that said, welcome to a look at the Jazwares Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 plush set. Let's start off with the first plush in this set, which is the cactus. Now, this cactus plush is actually really unique because it's the only cactus plush that is based off of this design of the cactus. And overall, based off the design in the game, they did a great job making this plush. Jazwares did a great job making the body, like making it more detailed because they're stitching to like make the outline so there's like bumps on the cactus, which is more accurate than basically any other cactus plush ever made. Also, they did a good job with the embroidery on the eyes, making it look accurate to the game. The only really bad thing about this plush is that the details on the top of his head are all made out of felt, so they could all get damaged easily because, well, felt collects debris and dust. But besides the materials they're made out of, they still look really nice, and overall this is one of the best cactus plush I've ever seen based off like the in-game design of the cactus in this game. One bad thing about this cactus plush though is that it's a little small, but besides the size of it and, well, the felt details, this plush is great and has all the correct details on it and looks overall really good. Now, if you want this plush, look on eBay or Mercari, but this plush is quite rare and sells for a lot of money when it pops up on eBay or Mercari. Now that's actually the only plush in the set that's a plant, so yeah, there's no other plant plushes in the set. So let's move on to the next plush in the set, which is Super Brains. Now a fun fact about this plush is that this was actually my first ever Plants vs Zombies plush that I got. And overall it's a pretty good one, and Jazwares did a pretty good job making all the details on it look nice. The face overall looks really good and has all the correct details on it, except for the bad thing about this plush is that the eyes are made out of plastic, so they could get chipped and damaged. And the teeth are also made out of felt, so they could collect debris and dust. Now the body on this plush, I actually don't know what material it's made out of, but it's made out of some sort of nice material, and it overall holds up really well over the years, and I barely see this part of the plush with any damage on it. They also had nice embroidery on the gloves. And overall, the rest of the plush's clothes, like on the legs and stuff, overall look really nice and are accurate to the game. Overall, this plush is just like the cactus, where it's super accurate to the game, except there only was one bad detail about it, is that it's really small. It seems like every single plush in the set was made super small by Jazwares for some reason, which isn't accurate to the game, but I would rather them be a little bigger. But besides that, these plushes are great. And a weird thing about Super Brains is that he's the only plush in the set that has a bootleg made of it. And this is the bootleg. It's quite obvious when it's a bootleg as well, but uses the wrong tag. Also, the material used on like the clothes are made out of like some really cheap material and could get damaged really easily. The face is also for some reason really big, and his mouth is usually wide open on the bootleg, so that's another way to tell. It's also like a 10 inches tall, which is not accurate to the size of like the actual plush. One thing that is weird about this plush though is that it sells for a lot of money on eBay, which means that these people are probably making a lot of money selling this bootleg, because for some reason a lot of people think it's real. So yeah, if you see a stock image on eBay of this plush, definitely don't buy it, because well, it'll most likely be the bootleg, and the bootleg falls apart within like a week or two, because I have seen some reviews of it. They basically just fall apart easily because they're made really cheaply. But now let's move into the final plush in the set that was actually released. There are a few prototypes, but this was the last one that was actually officially released, being Dr. Zomboss. Now, Dr. Zomboss is probably the best plush in the set due to the details on it being really good. This is also the only normal Dr. Zomboss plush. The head shape is really accurate, same thing with the eyebrows. I'm pretty sure the eyebrows also have cardboard in them to make them like stand up and look better overall. Just like the other plushes, the teeth and the eyes are the only really bad part about this plush, because well, they're made out of bad materials. But besides that, the rest of the plush is great, because well, the clothes are really nicely made and have all the correct details on them, and also he just looks really nice overall. Still, really the only bad thing about this plush is like its height, because it's really small and not accurate to like other zombies made by other companies, so they're like really small compared to them. There's also a second design of this plush that has a really wide open mouth. I would definitely not recommend getting this version, because overall it just looks really weird and is inaccurate to how the plush is supposed to look. But yeah, overall this plush is really good, but it sells for a lot of money on eBay and Mercari, like almost $100 for like this plush, because well, it's the only Dr. Zomboss plush that was like ever made for like the normal Dr. Zomboss variant. But yeah, that's all the officially released plushes, but there are two prototypes in this set. Let's start off with the first prototype being Squash. Now, the first thing you'll notice about the Squash plush is that it looks a lot like the World Max Squash, because well, it's probably based off that. And this plush probably wouldn't look like this if it was officially made, because well, prototypes usually look different from their official release, but we'll never know because well, we only have this one image of it. Overall though, it looks really nice and it has all the correct details on the plush and has some nice embroidery. It just looks almost exact to the World Max one, which is probably why this plush was cancelled. Because I'm guessing PopCap didn't really want two of the exact same plushes made by different companies, so yeah, that's probably why they canceled this plush and didn't officially release it. But now let's move on to the last prototype plush in this set, being a really good one, being the Foot Soldier Zombie. Now there's actually two designs of this plush. I'm going to start off with this version with like these big plastic eyes. Now this is the only image we have of it, and well, it's just the head of it, and even part of the head is just blocked out, so there really isn't much to go off of this plush. First off, the helmet looks really nice on it, and overall it looks like it's made out of a high quality material and has nice embroidery on it, but that's all we could really see of the helmet. The eyes are made out of plastic, so I'm guessing those could get damaged, so yeah, that's really a bad thing about this plush, but the rest of the plush overall looks really good. The only really other bad thing about it is that for some reason the skin's like a dark gray color when it's supposed to be a light gray, but overall it looks pretty good from like the one picture we have of the head of it. And I do wonder what the rest of the plush look like, because overall the Foot Soldier Zombie is a pretty interesting looking zombie for the rest of the plush, so I wonder how it would look. But now there's the second design of the zombie, which has smaller plastic eyes, and that's really the only change about it. Once again, we only have one image of it, and well, this is all we could see of it. It's also really blurry because it's from like far away, so we can't really tell anything about it. Except that it's slightly different with like the mouth being a different shape and the eyes are a lot smaller, but besides that, this plush looks the exact same as the other one. The helmet looks the exact same too, but it's just with slightly different colors on it. Overall, it's a shame that this plush was cancelled because it would have been a great plush to add to the set and was a super unique one. And it's just a shame that there was only 3 plushes ever released in this set because there was never another Garden Warfare 2 plush set. So if you want Garden Warfare 2 plushes, these are the only plushes that you could get from the game. The only other really Garden Warfare 2 plushes that exist are custom ones like the Citron, but yeah, that's about it. And there's a lot of customs on like websites like Etsy of Garden Warfare 2 custom plushes, so if you do want some Garden Warfare 2 plushes that weren't made in this set, you could look on Etsy for them. But yeah, which plush in this set is your favorite? Mine's probably the Super Brains, but comment down below yours, and yeah, have a great day.